September 18th, 2022, GTA 6 footage leaked. Some people thought this was the game. One tweet summed it all up. If you knew how game development goes, you'd know that visuals are one of the first things done. This game is 4 years into planning and development. What you see is almost exactly what you will get. The next year is mission coding and debugging. All back-end stuff. It does look ass. Studios like Remedy and Naughty Dog responded, posting early development footage. Rough builds, broken animations, worlds made of placeholder graphics. The internet ain't good. Unlike movies, music, or books, gamers rarely see behind the scenes. Devlogs are great for developers and deep dives speak to fans, reviews benefit the whole community. What about the people in the middle? The curious passerby or gamers with questions? Welcome to Debug Mode. Episodes start with a question. I'm making my first game. We'll use that to answer. If graphics aren't first, what is? Game development splits into 6 milestones. Each stage is used to further refine a game. Concepting, prototyping, pre-production, production, post-launch, and marketing. The first one's obvious. You need an idea. I want to build a game around Final Fantasy XI's armor swapping mechanic, updated with action combat. A stylish action RPG where strategy matters more than reflexes. I also don't want to say that every time. For now, we'll call it Project Mythos. I know the system works because it's based on Final Fantasy XI. I still need a prototype. To nail down basic systems, finding the fun as the industry says. That's also why I had no idea how to start this series. Here's the thing. This is Epic's mega grant offering developers $5 to $500K. I had 30 days to prove Mythos works.
What do you do?
Here are my 3 options. Bullshot. The term combines bullshit and screenshot. It's footage designed to look impressive, but it doesn't reflect the real game. I could bolt some features onto this combat kit, call it a build. I don't wanna do that because I throw it away after the video. So, build a prototype in 30 days.
I thought that the quickest way to bring this idea to life and to present this to the rest of the team would be to create this in 2D. So I brought the character data to the technical director, Mr. Doda, who will be coming up after this, and asked him to make it. As you can see, this is a 2D Zelda, but we use this as a way to experiment with the mechanism I was talking about earlier. So you could say this is a legitimate prototype of Breath of the Wild, and hence Link's blue clothes.
Unfortunately, those aren't the same goals. Anything I built would serve the grant, not the game. There's gotta be another way. Bright side, Epic isn't looking for polish. Early development is unrefined. It can be downright ugly. What do developers do when they don't have a prototype? Sometimes they make a rip-o-matic or rip reel, taking footage from movies, games, wherever, cut like a trailer to communicate intent, mood, pacing, capturing the vibe of the thing before the thing exists, designed to pitch studios, secure funding, align teams. I can't think of a better place to start. Experts warned of the 2008 crash, ignored. COVID expected for decades, ignored. This is the doomsday clock. It's a metaphor for human destruction. It was created for a good reason. World-ending events are real.
Dopamine.
Many are moments that will happen eventually, and the concern, we're so caught up in debates, greed, and war, experts worry we won't notice the final shot until the lights go out. So, here's my 2-minute rip reel set during the end of the world. Project Mythos is a stylish action RPG built around strategy-driven combat. You aren't chosen, you're a survivor trapped in a city at war. Back a faction, uncover the truth, escape the city, or join the fight. One character, multiple styles. You pilot a gauge, power armor that acts as your main job. Each gauge is built around a playstyle. Passives unlock as you craft and upgrade your suit. Abilities are your tactics. Swapping gear changes combat identity. Chain your attacks and abilities across your loadout. Pick a fight with area of effect attacks.
Dopamine now.
Swap to heavy gear to control your targets.
Can you fill in now?
Finish them off with high damage spells by shifting to mage. Your strategy is your combined loadout. To survive, refine your playstyle against AI operators pursuing their own objectives. Defeat a boss, unlock their style. Your equipped weapon defines your attacks. Weapons are classes with their own moveset. The city is static. The battlefield changes. Abilities, enemies, hazards, and threats are dynamically distributed across familiar streets. One system guides it all,
Dopamine.
starting with a single weapon class and 2 enemy types. The question, whose side are you on? Rip reels, prototypes, and paper design are common in AAA development.
But it was very, very valuable for us to try things like this, discover they were terrible, and move on just in a paper format.
Are there gaps in gaming discourse? Average Guy said what he did because we rarely see unrefined gameplay. People want to know more about games. Here are a few comments from a recent behind-the-scenes video for Diablo 4. Now, here's another GDC clip on making Hearthstone.
If we had engineers to ask us those questions, we would have answered their questions, and we wouldn't have had enough information to actually know what we were going to do in the final design. And so we would have told them things that later on would have kind of hosed us, because we would have later on said, okay, here's our design now, and they would have gone, you know, a year ago when you told us that you wanted it to work like this, well, we implemented it like this, and then it would have made it much more difficult or impossible to do the actual design that we sort of wanted to follow through with.
Makes sense to me, except those aren't made public. In game design, a deliverable is something people can play. I thought, why not just show people? So I made a rip reel. Or give you tools like Paperturgy, the prototype for the game's magic system. Full video soon. You might have noticed I didn't mention graphics. I'm aiming for an art style similar to King of Mysteries meets Guilty Gear Strive, but for me, everything starts with combat. If fighting and movement doesn't feel good, graphics are just polishing a turd. And I lied. I left something else out. Without, no game would ever get made. Here's what the industry pays for 2 years of work. Remember that grant? It's not a sponsorship or meant to fund the game. It covers a portion of development at a fraction of market rate. Speaking of market rate, want to see what that buys for a yearly budget of $13 to $26K. YouTube is a developer graveyard, littered with burnt out channels. First, they had to make the game. That's the content. Then make videos. Figuring out how to give you the best experience, that's what funding buys. Money unlocks time to dig into details. Time unlocks quality, letting me experiment and think systems through. The math shakes out to 3 income streams over the next 2 to 3 years. I can self-fund a year of development. If successful, the grant covers 6 to 12 months. That leaves year 3, which is what Patreon is for. Why Patreon, not GoFundMe? Patreon means you can stop whenever you want. If I go quiet or stop delivering, then don't pay me. No lump sum, no commitment. Seems fair to me. Yes, I've already set one up. No, I have 0 expectations. Money's tight. I get it. Now, if this were a pitch, this is when I'd introduce the team. Hi, I'm Dimitri. This started 5 years ago. I'm 43. I was born legally blind due to albinism. What you see at 200 feet, I see at 20. This limits my options. I'm currently living with my very understanding father. Back in 2019, I started learning UE4 to remake Ruby Grim Eclipse. June 21st, 2020, I severely strained my eyes working on said prototype. Left functionally blind for 18 months, I could see, but keeping my eyes open was physically painful. I promised myself if I recovered, I'd do this right. I started by figuring out what I needed to do. Took the courses to learn, splendid 2025 launch. What could possibly go wrong? See, I'm also on SSI. For 17 years, I lived on 1K a month or less. March 2025, Doge cut that to 579. Look, I lost my vision planning this channel. I can't eat pity, and I'm not ashamed of who I am. I love me. Entendre? To bring this back to Average Guy's tweet, I'm willing to bet it got a few likes. How would people know the difference? Average Guy was a victim of gaming dogma, repeating something he thought was true. We made him the front page of the internet.
Why though?
We all do it. Most of us have never made a game. That's fine. Everything you've seen is gonna change. The concept gives me direction, the rip reel is to get you and investors on board. The plan is why studios hesitate to show us. But that gap is leading to death threats, swatting, doxing, harassment, and review bombing. In a 2023 Game Developers Conference survey of 2,300 developers, a whopping 2,083, that's 91%, say player toxicity and developer harassment is an industry-wide issue. I'm working on a video about all that, because it's getting worse. Unfounded opinions on game development give people the wrong idea. Vibes aren't working. I grew up wanting to write and draw comics. My old stories happen to work. I'm a dude in a room with nothing to lose. Between Unreal Engine and YouTube, I couldn't ask for a better shot. This isn't casual, this is the thing. Want to know what happens next? 4 stages of development left. Think of the channel as my job application. If debug mode grows, I'll consider myself hired. Share the video, join the Patreon starting at $1 a month. If you just watched and want to scroll on, it's all good. Every view helps. Take care and have a good one. Oh, and
Funny little requests.
Touch me.
His reprimands.
Touch me harder.